And we're back, folks. This is the WRMN Morning Show with your hosts, Susie C.
Good morning.
Me. I'm the L train, Elliot Serrano. Sorry, I rolled up the wrong mic. Are you there, Susie?
I'm here.
Are you
Can
there?
you hear me?
I can you hear me?
Can
We're
you hear me
communicating
now?
with the afterlife right now. I'm trying to reach you, Susie. Hello. Now
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello.
And
hello,
yes,
hello.
we have the folks from the Illinois State Paranormal Investigators group in to talk about the stuff that goes on in our basement here at WRMN.
It was a lot.
I know. I'm afraid to ask. I am afraid to ask.
Don't be. I was down there. I wasn't scared.
No. Okay, here's the thing. I'm sure you guys have already heard the story, but for those who did not hear it before, and we have been trying to get folks ready for your visit. You're the second group to come through. The first group that came in found a whole bunch of stuff in the basement, and we thought it was like, we think that whole area down there is like a way station. People keep passing through, and then you guys come in to get like a little bit of a confirmation or figure out, see what we can find out. And can I tell you something? I love you guys, because you were the first ones to finally get the ghost to say that Susie's annoying and she's not allowed to go down there.
It's true. It's true.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, nah, we had enough of her. We listened to her all day on the radio. It's like, no.
Somebody didn't want me down there the
Yeah.
first time, and
There
this
you go.
time they made it completely clear that I'm annoying. Annoying came through very
I thought,
clear.
man, even in the afterlife, you can get under people's skin, it seems like.
Well,
Your,
there you go.
your positivity
I'm
drives
sorry.
them nuts.
All right, so for those of you that are on camera, you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what part you play?
Yes, I'm Darren. I am the founder of the team.
I'm Haley. I'm a partner of the team.
My name's Matt. I'm one of the managers.
Nice.
And then we have folks off camera. We'll bring them in real quick. They'll be on after the break. Go on,
I'm Christina. I'm a head manager.
Christina. And I think that's Eric back there.
There he is, Eric
Yes,
Taylor.
and I'm Eric Taylor, and I'm one of the managers.
Nice.
We all know Eric because Eric is always on our YouTube page commenting about stuff, which we appreciate. We do appreciate that. I'm just curious, how did you all find each other? How did you all get involved in this sort of thing?
I started this team back in 2011. I started with a couple friends and just kind of did it for a little bit of fun. And so my original co-founder had contacted that team one day wanting to join. And I'm like, well, I'm not the founder. I'm one of the managers. Let me pass the information on to him and see what he wants me to hear. Well, he didn't respond too much. So in my head, I was like, what am I going to do here? So she came to me one day. She's like, hey, how do you feel about us starting our own team? And I was kind of skeptical about it at first because at that time, I didn't know what it took to really build a foundation, to really build clientele and just the whole social media platform. And here I am 15 years later.
Nice.
What is it like? What is your mission? What do you guys want to do?
Our mission and goal is to find out what is going on inside a home or / business and really try to figure out, like, because we sometimes get clients where they can say a home is demonic or anything like that. So we kind of take it as, it's their first time experiencing it. They don't know how to deal with it like we do. So it could be an upsetted spirit, an unrested spirit. So we go in and try to communicate with them and just let them know we're here to communicate and try to help them, move on if we can.
I'm okay with them staying, but they got to help pay the rent, if they come in. So you other folks here, well, how did you all get involved? I'm sorry.
Haley.
Haley, how did you get involved?
So I actually had spent some time when I was younger doing some little investigations, just kind of as a fun hobby. And then I was sitting talking with my wife and made a joke of, I should find a team to join. And she's like, okay. And I happened to see that they were looking for investigators on Illinois State Paranormal Investigators. So I reached out. Me and Darren played phone tag for a little while. And then I joined, and it has been phenomenal since.
You don't have to, have you and your wife talked about things following you home? We get that one all the time.
Yes. That was one of her biggest fears. She's actually a police officer, and she's like, I'm good with dealing with criminals, but when it comes to a ghost, I can't fight a ghost. So I was like, well,
maybe
that's not really going to happen. We're okay.
Wouldn't it be great if the ghost could do things like babysitting, walking the dog,
Clean my house.
chores.
That'd
Yes.
be
see,
great.
Get
that
a
would be
poltergeist
great.
that could like
there
sweep.
have been some
Yeah.
there have been some stories like that
Yeah.
that I've heard where people have
I'd be
found
all over that.
stuff like organized in their house or disorganized in a lot of ways.
Elliot, if you could just get one to keep your dining room table
Oh
organized.
my goodness! File my bills for me.
Oh my
Open my mail and go. Okay, that's garbage. Oh, file that. Oh, that's a bill to pay. And how did you get involved?
You know what? I had an interest in it when I was like a little kid. I used to be one of those individuals that would like go to the library and come home with like a stack of books like a foot high and then not sleep for about a week. But yeah, I really didn't think about getting into it until I had a couple of experiences. Like when I got home from the military, actually my first experiences happened like right here in Elgin.
Mm.
So yeah, they kind of unsettled me to an extent. I also kind of tried to explain them away. And then, when I started seeing like maybe I need like a little hobby to look into this and kind of like try and explain, kind of something to, clarify it for myself. When I saw the opportunity that there was like an opening on the team,
Mm-hmm.
I met with Darren and joined up, and it's been interesting so far.
All right. So you were in the military. What branch were you? in?
Air Force.
Air Force. Oh, there you go.
Actually, I was on one of the most haunted islands you could think of, Okinawa, and surprisingly, I heard a lot of stories while I was there
Yeah.
from a lot of other
Yeah.
military guys, but never really had anything that I had that was anything odd.
Oh,
It didn't happen until I came back home.
there you go. There you go. So okay. So what is it that sets you guys apart from all the other groups that do this sort of thing?
It really depends on what they're in it for. I've worked with other teams. Sometimes it's how they operate.
Right.
They get some teams that go in there into locations to where they think it's a game.
Right.
Yeah, we do have times where we go out, we have fun, we de-stress, like locations like Joliet Prison, which I've been to quite a few years ago.
I've heard that one is a real hot spot. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I've worked with other teams. One of our sister team is actually Illinois Paranormal Research Group.
Okay.
I've worked with her over 10 years ago. I've known her for over 10 years. They actually have a location at the Rock Island Arsenal in Moline, which we're going to be collabing with them here sometime this year.
Okay.
Nice. How much? What about some of the upcoming events that you guys have? I know you've got a bunch of those.
Yeah. So the first upcoming event we have is going to be April 4th at Chicagoland Veterans Campus. It was a old school, now turning into a military museum. They officially open in June, and that is in Addison. We're
Mhm.
selling tickets on our website. They are $30 at this point. You want to talk about Raleigh?
Yeah, and I was also going to mention actually in
I'm
August.
sorry. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes,
Okay,
hi, it's Christina, the head manager. In August, we're going to be at Montgomery. Thank you, Montgomery Fest. We're going to have a booth there for 2 days, so come on and visit us. And then in October, we're going to be returning for our second year at the Trolley Museum that's here in Elgin, over on 31. And this year, we're going to be doing 3 separate weekends of they do a little trolley tour to the end of the line where there's a grave that's haunted, and we do a little mini investigation and let people investigate with us. It's very fun.
That's cool. And that's the one is it South Elgin? I think it's considered
I guess
South
it's
Elgin.
yeah, it's right on the border there. It's right off of 31.
The haunted trolley, or just the things
Just
around the trolley? are haunted?
At the end, there's a grave that we think leads back to the Black Hawk War.
Ooh.
So that area, I don't think the trolleys are haunted, but there's definitely that air, like you go back in time kind of being on
Uh-huh.
them. It's
Mhm.
very fun. So
Uh-huh.
And nothing spookier than like an old train.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
And then we have a booth there, and there's some other people who come out and have booths. Last year they had a taco vendor. It was very fun, and it's free to come. But to ride the trolley does cost. I forget what the tickets prices were, but it wasn't super it's great for the family.
Which one are you looking forward to the most? The one in Addison?
I would say, me personally, the one in Addison, because that is such a rich in history place, and we've just began to scratch the surface of it. So it's going to be good to get back out there.
Nice.
and
Now, have you been
investigate.
there before?
Yes.
Okay, so you did go investigate there.
Yeah.
Actually, Sue, that picture that I showed you, remember I went and showed you the orb on the stairwell and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was actually
There was an
taken
orb?
there.
That was there.
There was an orb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Was
was
it
an
an-
orb.
No,
I
the orbs
actually,
of
It wasn't an orb
Comedy.
of comedy? No, it was
No.
just an orb.
No, it was just an orb.
Was
Yeah,
there an
I
orb to
mean,
tickle?
it-
Nothing like that?
Yeah,
No?
it was a real unique thing. I mean, it also like, it was one of those things where you're watching the camera and the thing just kind of swoops up the stairs and starts making it.
I saw a poltergeist. I know what happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we come back, we'll kind of give you more of like how they came in, how they set up the cameras,
What they
the
found.
equipment they used, and then all
you-
of the things they
Did
found.
you have like a little tiny short woman who like did that?
Oh,
This house is clean. Did you do that
everybody
afterwards?
loves that little lady
I
from
love
that.
her. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone, every paranormal investigation unit should have a little person, just to do that at the end.
Got to be careful. You might insult little people.
I think they're great. I love little people. I think they're great.
welcome.
All right, folks. When we come back, it's more with the Illinois State Paranormal Investigations Unit here on WRMN, the morning show. Susie C and me, the L Train.
Be back.
We'll be back.
Good morning and welcome back to the WRMN Morning Show. You are here on 14 Douglas Avenue listening to AM 1410 with me, Susie C., and my partner, Elliot, the L Train Serrano. We are here with the Illinois State Paranormal Team, who was here 2 weeks ago, right? It was 2 weeks ago, and investigated all things creepy in the basement. And yes, there were things that showed up.
I mean, there are creepy things in the studio too.
Well.
One's running the board right now.
I wasn't going to say that, but so these guys came in. It was super interesting. They came in like, I don't know, they were like 10 people deep with all this equipment and bags and duffel bags and, set up a TV with camera monitors. Why I almost couldn't say that. And gadgets
Did
and
you guys have the little
gizmos.
trap? Did you have the little ghost trap? Did you have one of those?
No.
No?
They had all the gadgets, all the gizmos, all the magnetic,
Nuclear
all the
accelerator,
things.
the
It wasn't
backpack.
Ghostbusters,
Oh,
you dork.
no,
This
I'm
was
just
the real
wondering.
deal.
The
So
best we could do is maybe a squirt gun with holy water.
there we go.
There we go.
Which we did not need one, thankfully. We did not
Can I
need
tell you
one.
something? I can't handle those. They burn. They burn. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Problem.
Exactly. So you guys came in. It was super cool. You set up a big TV and you had 4 cameras. We had 4 cameras downstairs.
We're running.
There were
we
4,
did run
yeah.
for it? Okay.
Yeah. And I'll let you go from there. Explain what you brought. Let's just you guys kind of take over and tell us because I'm really curious as to all things that you found out about downstairs.
Well,
So give us.
usually what we do is we set up like when we come in, we do a quick walkthrough, go room to room, or actually even before we do that, we do a little interview and find out where are the hot spots, where stuff happened the most, and then what's happened. Then after that, we ask either the client or homeowner or where we're at, to give us a quick walk through the property. And as we go through, we kind of get a good idea where we might want to set up our cameras.
Right.
Pointing them and try to cover as much ground so we
You
get,
did. Those cameras cover the entire basement.
Yeah, get it through where we're going to be able to cover a lot of stuff and be able to watch a lot of our investigators when they're in the rooms going and using the K2 or asking questions or if we got REM pods in there, sometimes you can see the REM pods, which is a little box. If something comes, if one of us goes near it, it will set off a check. You
Right, yeah.
heard it where
It was so they had one of those. It was I guess at some point kind of funny. They put it on the floor between the doorway to 2 of the separate rooms, and something was just standing there watching. We're like, come on, you can come on this side. We're okay. But it stood there for a long time because that thing was going
Actually, at one
bananas.
point when you came down into the basement, it was interesting because one of our other investigators upstairs, Kim, was watching the TV and called down to me and said that something was moving from that main room towards the doorway. And soon as I stayed in the other room that had we have a laser grid in the other room.
Right.
So like if anything, it fills the whole room with like all these like laser dots. And if anything like was to come through, it would like block out the lasers. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get like a solid apparition or anything like that like would block out the lasers. But what did happen when she said that something was moving towards that doorway,
Mm-hmm.
the REM pod went off as soon as it got to the doorway, and then like went off like something had passed through.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly thereafter, you had just like come down there right after that. I was like, something just came through this doorway.
Uh-huh. Well, one of the funny kind of cool, whatever, there is an app on your phone that kind of works in conjunction with all your equipment. And I was downstairs and something said to me, "Are you sick?" And that was like the third day I had bronchitis. And I said, "Well, yes, I am. Thank you for asking." And when I came upstairs to tell you guys, my friend Jamie was up here and she was listening. And I said, "Oh my God, one of the ghosts asked me if I was sick." And she goes, "That's funny. Look what it asked me." And it had said to her, "Is she sick?" And she was like, "Yes, she is." So they were paying attention. How would
Yeah,
anybody else
we
know
do.
that or
I
say
mean,
that?
some of us like to try and use some of the apps, and there are some better apps out there than others. I'm not exactly going to use the names because I don't know if
Yeah, I
legally
didn't say
we can.
anything for that.
So, but some of the apps we use, like we kind of try and research them, and like they're the ones that like come from the best reviewed
And
sources.
I researched the one we used because it was blown up my
Yeah,
phone.
and it's one of the nicer ones where like it gets a lot of respect because they say that it can be manipulated a little bit, where the other ones are a little bit more randomized.
Mm-hmm.
These ones like actually have like a manipulation factor where there could be like a chance that if something is trying to communicate with you, it can manipulate.
Yeah, this app said to me that if you, in conjunction with all the REM pod and all that stuff, that it will work. And so then when I got home, just for snickers and grins, I popped it open because I wanted to see if it would still show me all the things that were said. And one of the first things that said out loud was, "Come outside."
Did you try the SLS feature too? I think it gives you like a little test, like, you can use it for a little while before it gives you a certain amount of time to use it. The SLS is like something that we've been wanting to, there's more advanced versions. It's
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
like the thing for the original Xbox 360. They had
Okay.
these things that people started realizing that people were showing up
Mm-hmm.
in the room that weren't there.
Yeah.
And it was actually became a big problem for a while. They thought
So
it was a
give us some of the things because I don't want to get off. I want to hear the things that you guys found.
okay.
Because this is super. I mean, because I'm looking at the time and I want to get it all in. So I
Okay.
want to hear the things that you guys found.
Well, actually, there is one thing off the bat before I throw things over here to Eric.
Yeah.
When we were all standing down there talking,
Uh-huh.
remember that black thing that just went flying across
Yes.
the room?
Oh my God,
And
yes. We all saw it.
we were all standing in a group, and we were doing the walkthrough. And I was in the middle of talking, as usual. I talk a lot. And I was talking, I was in the middle of it, and I was still talking even after it went by because I wasn't sure. And I just said, "Did anybody else just see that thing fly through us?" And the best way to describe it is like if you saw a bumblebee or a cicada, but it's the middle of winter. It definitely wasn't a bug because I tracked it all the way through the group. And by the time it got to the end of the group of us, it just was gone.
Gone. Mhm. Oh yeah, we all saw it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure David Tees would have loved that. Mr. Scared of Spiders. But,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, we also saw in that one portal downstairs is what I call a little child that's in there, and I stuck out my hand and I felt the spirit touching my hand, which I thought was pretty cool.
So,
Yeah.
So I know we've had that was discovered last time that there's a young girl down there.
Yes.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, her name is Dawn. That's what she told us last time. And I did bring the baby doll,
Yes.
but I didn't want to go down there by myself just to be like, no, because nobody's coming home with me. I got to make sure they know. But so we'll go down and we'll hide the baby doll. I'm not telling anybody here where it's at because I don't want to start somebody playing with it. Yeah. So tell us some of the things you found out about this area.
Well, actually, like one of the things, I mean, this was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be for like a city like Elgin. I thought there would be like some better documented stuff, but actually the area that we're in right now is the original area that was first settled by the, I'm trying to remember what the two brothers named, the Gifford brothers.
Gifford, that's right.
James T. Gifford and Ezekiel Gifford. And they were New Yorkers that had heard from actually the original, and this goes back, we have this running theme on a lot of our investigations and stuff. A lot of stuff connected to the Black Hawk Wars. And everything seems to go back to General Winfield Scott on a lot of things, especially a lot of things in the Fox River Valley. And when these guys were like marching off to like, go face Black Hawk, they were, writing back home and telling stories about like this fertile land along the rivers. And it got to these guys, the Gifford brothers, and they decided to come out here from New York, and they ended up settling out here in 1835.
Okay.
They came to this area right near here, near Chicago Street, where they could find a spot where they could put down a bridge crossing. And they built like a bunch of small cabins and stuff like that around here. And, before long, I guess like one of the original inhabitants was an Adolph Sass, who this general neighborhood right here I know for a fact that he owned the property across the street, the building right there. And when I go and check like some of the history or the deep AI history and stuff on this area, it says that these buildings somehow are connected. So I don't know if both these buildings were built at the exact same time, but Adolph Sass owned this property, and he owned this property up until 1858.
Okay.
And in 1858, he had sold it, and you guys knew about this right away. He sold it to Charles and Theodore Cohn, and then they had another partner named Conrad Schramm. Conrad Schramm ran the confectionery across the street, right near the alley over there, and the Cohn brothers they had a meat market. And in 1883, the Schramms and the Cohns petitioned the city of Elgin to put up a brick building in the area. And I guess this building might have been put up at the same time too. Now, here's where the mystery happens. Like I said, it's very hard for me to find a lot of information on this building. And just looking at this building, going through the basement and looking at like, how those back doors were, it had to be some sort of transfer or storage, and there was a railroad right behind like where this building is,
Right.
across the
Like
way
a little
here.
distribution
Well,
center. Drop off, sort.
Yeah, I mean,
So when
and
you come in the basement on one end, there's a spot where it looks like there was a door that has been since bricked over. And then on the other side of Douglas, so that you come off, there are stairs that were going up towards the street that also has been bricked over.
Oh yeah, and
So
also
it makes
right,
sense to come in one end, sort, do whatever you needed to do, and then send it back out on the street
exactly.
side.
And also in the very front of the building here, where I went and saw where it's bricked up over there, and then you got those two pillars on one side. I said that looks like that used to be almost like a street side elevator.
Right.
Where
it
if
looks
they were
like-
bringing stuff, because the Fox Valley line and the Galena line starts here, and the Fox Valley line ended here. So if they were dropping off, anything for the city, they probably transferred to the Galena line right over there that was going to be going towards Chicago or any of the other areas. But anything that was going to be delivered in this area, they probably transferred to a building close nearby and probably brought a cart and lowered it down right here out in front into the basement to do sorting, and then probably send it right out the back to horse carriages to, deliver it. And then also this morning, seeing that the post office is right over here. Most post offices don't move too far when they're like rebuilt or anything like that. People are used to a centralized location. Almost makes me think that this might have been something with the post office. I even said that there
like
could have
early
also
Amazon.
Oh yeah, and there could or there could have been a Western Union like right up here too.
Oh yeah.
Where they could have like sent like messages via telegraph. So
So some of the things that we saw, we felt, we heard, like what? Let's talk about some of those, because I think that was pretty cool.
oh yeah, you guys like had like more stuff here.
Well, we had
You
so
guys
when
were
they
up,
set
like,
up
watching the
cameras, there were many orbs that were coming, and you can tell the difference. I mean, I'm not trained, but you can kind of tell the difference between
dust.
like
and-
the
Like
dust
dust,
and then
yeah.
the orbs that would bounce and come up, and they were lit differently. There were a lot of those flying around
A
downstairs.
lot of times they also do like really dramatic maneuvers. Sometimes you can even ask them to do different things, which, if I've had that happen before where I say, okay, can you go towards that person in the room? And they'll go towards that person. Or they'll swirl up from the ground, or they'll swirl down from the ceiling. And then there's also times where I'll go in a room and we got orbs all over the place, and I'm like, okay, we'll do a test. There'll be a bed or something in the room. So I'll hit the bed just to see if I can get dust to come up.
Yeah.
And, there's a marked difference between dust, when you see dust, the way it floats and settles and all that stuff, compared to something that's actively moving and moving around things.
Right.
Especially when there's no air in the room.
Yeah. One of the craziest things was when they first set up, the word came through 64. And where everybody, because they were writing down, I have a list, 64. So we're like, okay, we don't know what that is. And then when you brought the thermometer down to see the temperature in the basement was 64.
Well, we've had...
Which was like a very weird coincidence.
We've had on another investigation where one of the, spirits that we're communicating with said through, one of the spirit boxes that, they could control the temperature.
Yes.
Well, apparently they let us know ahead of time, which to me
what they set the thermostat to.
Yeah, because we didn't touch it, and it was the very first word that came through was just 64. So we were all kind of like, well, I don't know what that means. I mean, and then later on in the evening, let's see the temperature, because every once in a while you get a temperature change. So Dan wants to know, wouldn't a laser go right through a ghost? A laser goes through a plastic bag. And to me, it was more like a shadow. It wasn't like it would block out the sun. It was kind of more like a dim. It dimmed it, and it kind of made a little bit of a shadow for a second. And am I right?
There's a blur. I mean, you hear of multiple types of apparitions where people say an apparition is solid. You hear stories of people saying an apparition is see-through. Sometimes an apparition looks solid, but it doesn't have legs. It's just going by. So you hear all these different kinds of apparitions, and I think basically what those grids are meant to do is, if sometimes a shadow or just a dark spot moves across the room and it's enough to dim the lights, or what happened before on another one of our investigations, which really was interesting. We just kept bringing stuff into the room, brand new batteries, completely full, just getting drained one after another. And then after I asked a few questions and orbs just started going crazy in the room. You remember that one, Darren. Everything started going crazy in the room. And when one of our other managers, started walking towards the laser grid, it just started draining the laser grid. Just,
That's
everything,
crazy.
two cameras went out, a spirit box went out, and the laser grid. Everything in the room was getting drained.
A question, you mentioned this machinery, these things that you use. Another question on the YouTube is what the tools that you use to measure, can anyone buy them, or do you have to make those yourself?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can actually buy them. You can go online and you can buy them pretty much anywhere. Amazon.
Yeah, the more advanced equipment you get, the more expensive it's going to get. Yeah, we're in the process, and Haley can take over the next piece of equipment that we're going to be getting here.
The nuclear packs that you get, those I hear those are really expensive. No?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
yet. That's in the works.
Get the Scooby-Doo ghost net.
Yeah. We're
There we go.
planning on getting one of the more advanced SLS cameras, just because that will help with kind of solidify if we're getting any sort of recordings of voices or anything coming through the spirit box. Having that SLS camera, which Matt kind of touched base on, that'll kind of tell us a lot of the times you'll see a stick figure and it'll say anomaly detected. So then you can kind of use that to coincide with if you are getting any activity, if something is there. And it also will help tell different temperature changes and things of that sort. If there's any heat anywhere or any cool spots. So
We're talking to folks from the Illinois State Paranormal Investigations group. They are in studio with us here at WRMN Radio on the morning show.
One of our listeners wants to know, have any of you ever really been scared? He's like, be honest. Was there ever a time where you guys were like, okay, this is really creeped me out. We got to go.
Yeah, I remember one investigation I went to, and it was a house we did, and I was in the basement, and just being alone down there, really creeped me out. You could feel the tension there, and yeah, it just creeped me out because I'm there in the dark and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, if you hear the cha 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 cha,
Then I'm gonna run.
that means
Yes.
Jason's in the room with you. But that's a
Yes.
different type of
Yes.
investigation
Yeah.
there. That's something completely different.
Yeah.
Now, it'd be nice in a lot of situations if there was a homicidal maniac that you would get a warning.
Get a
like that
warning, yeah.
Yeah,
beforehand.
that would be good. Yeah, that would be good. But so yeah, it was very interesting down there. The there's what's the handheld with the little lights?
The spirit box.
That's the
Oh,
spirit
right,
box.
K2?
The
K2.
K2. She was
Okay,
using
the
Yeah.
K2,
Yeah.
which that thing is really cool because it stays kind of yellow lights and it green and yellow, and then if something is near you, they turn red. And there were times I was standing there and I'm like, whoops, somebody's right next
Wait,
to me.
You were playing red light, yellow light? Is that what the ghosts were doing?
Yeah.
You're going, red light.
Red
A
light,
lot of
green
times,
light.
what you can do is like you can, ask them like, to come closer to you or farther away from you to answer a question.
Uh-huh.
So you'll ask a question and, they'll come by and the stronger, kicks over to red, it's usually a strong, and if it's really consistent, a little more than like random, like it's actually answering your questions, I mean, there are things that you got to look out for that can be, you got to debunk yourself sometimes. Like if you're really close to electronics, almost like when I went and asked you, is there any kind of radio equipment or anything
Right.
down there? Because I was like, that would,
Yeah,
that would
it's all
instantly
down
throw
there,
a
but
monkey
none of
wrench
them
into
are
things. Yeah.
none of them are hot. I know we had names like Rose,
Rose.
Barbara. Barbara came through. She was like first, and she was really strong. She was like Barbara. And I know we wrote down all the names of the people that were giving us their names, which was crazy because Jamie's aunt was named Rose, and she's recently passed. So we were like, oh, okay, hi, Rose. Like,
Did Jamie's aunt go on a Titanic and then drop the heart of the ocean to the one and pretty
Killing
much
me,
screw
Smalls.
everyone on that expedition?
My favorite is the spirit box because you can ask questions and they can actually come through and talk on the spirit box. So that's my favorite.
Spirit box sounds like a Happy Meal to me. I'm like, I'm gonna go to McDonald's. We're gonna get the Spirit Box meal, and it comes with a little PKE meter or something, with my cheese. Free ghost, goes with me.
Which we'll actually be putting some of the photos and stuff we've gotten from this investigation as well as future investigations on our website and other social media as well.
Can you hit us with that?
Yeah, so the website is www.illinoissstateparanormalinvestigators.com.
Illinois State Paranormal Investigators.com. Are you guys on Facebook too?
That's
Yeah.
my phone. Yes.
I would just say, look for Illinois State Paranormal.
It'll be under that name. Pretty much all of our
Investigators.
social media. You just got to look that up, and there we are.
yeah, some of the things that were asked, so we had Teresa, something said burnt, something said please come back. Somebody said to me, please don't go, when I was going to go upstairs, so I turned around and I stayed for a minute.
We had the one that kept asking too, why is she here and why is he here?
Uh-huh. And
Oh,
then
there
said
was-
I was annoying
There was also
Yeah, they were.
and called you a hag.
Oh, I thought it was you.
actually.
Oh, maybe it was me. Maybe it was. I don't know, but we got called a
Remember,
hag.
we also had that very rude song start playing on my phone out of nowhere.
Yes,
when
out
we
of
just
absolutely
right
nowhere.
after we saw the thing fly across, we were just on our way up, and I thought, is that the music from upstairs?
No.
And
it
I'm
was
looking
your
around
phone.
and looking around. Well, it takes a code to get into my phone.
Yeah, that was.
And I was like, I don't know how the heck my phone just starts
Uh-huh.
playing music, and it wasn't really saying nice things.
Yeah,
in
we
the
had,
song.
we had somebody ask what year is it, which I thought was very interesting. It was an accident and an injured lady. Those came through. I'm trying to think. Olivia, Rose, Tom, Barbara. Somebody said I live here. So I'm wondering if that's our little Dawn and she wants her baby doll because I said, do you want toys? Yes. Andrew was through. And someone said I like it here.
Yeah, I got that. Too.
So I don't know who that was, but yeah, this was very, very cool, and I'm so glad you guys made it out. Put together what you want. If you want to put together a video, beside what you have, we'll share it on WRMN. I did not share the pictures from that night yet, which I will today, of how the setup was and everything. How much time we got, Elliot?
34 seconds.
34 seconds. So anything else you guys want to add?
One thing we just want to thank all of our investigators who did make this trip out here, because without them we cannot fully function as a team with this investigation. So that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
And we thank you guys so much for coming out. So